So although it's not very common, NFL fans can still get absolutely out of hand. And before doing any research for this video, I've actually never heard of any of these situations, so hopefully you find some entertainment value in them as well, because I think they're pretty crazy. So back in the infancy of the NFL in the 1960s, fans would run on the field often, and as there wasn't very much security back then, they would actually get away with it for a fair amount of time. But nothing, and I'm telling you, nothing throughout the entirety of maybe sports itself compares to this moment in 1961, where on the last play of the game, the most important play that decides the entire outcome of this football game, this drunk guy runs onto the field, runs after the quarterback, and then he disrupts the pass. He literally causes the pass not to reach its target, and he breaks up the pass. Game over. The NFL does nothing about it. I mean, how is this even real? Man, the NFL was a different place back then. But even if you want to look at a more modern example that's still not, super modern, refs have gotten better at blowing plays dead when a fan enters the field, but this play didn't stop the fan from going forward with his plans. Because after successfully running onto the field, this fan attacks Brett Favre and takes the ball from him, puts his hands up in the air and starts running away. The security guard goes to the 30, gets decked by another guy, and then he gets pancaked on the floor at about the 20. Like, this man must have been 15 beers deep. Like, what is even happening? But if I can say at least one thing from this clip, he has the best broken tackle by any fan I've ever seen on the field. Man hit him with the Michael Vick crossover and made two security guards ram into each other at full speed. Now, if you watch any college football, then you probably know that it's not too uncommon for some fans to decide to tear down the goalpost and use that as a sort of trophy for their win. And it's happened in the NFL too, like in this clip where the Bills fans decide to tear down the goalpost just after a regular win. Man, I can only imagine what would happen if the Bills ever win a Super Bowl. It's a shame they never got a chance though. But the Bills tearing down the goalpost was kind of a relatively tame way to show that fans stormed the field. So once again, we're going back to Patriots fans. After they stormed the field, they ended up tearing down the goalpost, but no, it did not even come close to ending there. Somehow, they tore down the goalpost, then carried it down the street. They moved down the street holding a real NFL goalpost that they sawed from the stadium. And as they walked down the street, they ended up hitting a high voltage wire and electrocuted all of them. They literally almost got themselves killed by holding a goalpost. God, and somehow, even after not dying, these fans were awarded $5 million for their injuries. I don't even understand how that's possible. They literally got millions of dollars for taking the goalpost and hurting themselves with it. I mean, NFL fans are just absolutely different breeds. So a more common way and understandable reason fans get mad at organizations and teams, as well as referees, I guess, is when the team leaves their city. And the best example of that historically are when the Browns decided to leave Cleveland when they announced it in the middle of the season and ended up tanking their entire year because of that. And in the last game of Cleveland, people were setting the stands on fire, throwing chairs, throwing everything they could find just to piss Art Modell off. And I guess it worked. And knowing Cleveland fans, I think that actually ended up sending a message, but it didn't stop them from leaving the city. And the most recent example of something like this happening was when the Raiders decided to leave Oakland all the way back in 2018. But it wasn't until their last game in 2019 where things played out super similarly to that Cleveland situation. But I can speak more clearly on this situation because I was actually at that last Raiders game against Jacksonville where people were throwing chairs, people were throwing everything they could find on the field. And being at that game, I saw a man take a screwdriver, take out the entire chair, metal and all, and throw it at a police officer. People were not happy and pretty much everyone around me was tearing out their seats, and I actually grabbed a seat myself. So yeah, I guess that's kind of cool just to remember all the pain and suffering that team caused me. So it's good to know that these NFL fans still will not stand down for anything, and even if their team leaves, they're gonna make their voices heard. Now, this next situation, I am absolutely shocked that I've never heard existed before, because this was the most intentional act of interference I've ever seen in any sports game. So the 49ers, all they had to do was kick a game-winning field goal with time expiring to win the game and send the Broncos home. You know, just a routine like 17-yard field goal or whatever this was. But if you look a little closely, you can see that there's snow all over the field and the weather circumstances weren't that great. So maybe it wasn't a gimme. And some Denver fan in the crowd got the brilliant idea of, hey, what if I took some of the snow, made a snowball, and threw it at the kicker while he was about to catch the snap to make him miss. So just watch this, as right before the ball is snapped, a snowball comes flying in from the right-hand corner from a fan, hits the ground, distracts the place kicker, he doesn't know what to do, he drops the ball, he's looking for someone, the play falls incomplete, 49ers lose the game. And the thing is, instant replay didn't exist, and the refs ended up somehow not catching this, and the Niners lost the game because of that. Now, I'm gonna end it off with this last clip, where this Bears fan decides to risk the health and safety of his body by catching this extra point after it goes over the net. And it doesn't show how he lands, but I'm sure that he shattered his ankles and fell to the floor. I think this video just proves that NFL fans are absolutely wild. But if you enjoyed this video, then you can like and comment if you want, because it really helps the channel a lot. Also, you can even subscribe if you feel like you might want to watch more videos like this one in the future, and watch one of these videos on the screen right here. They're really good, trust me. Anyways, until next time.